how's it going? This is McCoy Buck with Keeping It Real. I've been basically freelancing for 3 years, but I've been doing it more serious. Like, it's been like my full-time thing for pretty close to a year. I was let go from a job and I thought my world was falling apart because I thought I was actually going somewhere at this job. But actually it just opened a whole bunch of new doors, a whole bunch of new opportunities. And that's what I want to talk about. So the actual topic that I have this kind of organized. I kind of have an outline in front of me. But what I want to talk about today is Webisodes versus explainer videos. Now, a webisode, if you don't know what that is, that's basically an animated series. So an example of that would be something like Cyanide and Happiness, if you're not familiar with that. Simon's Cat. So you have your different type of animation that they then upload to YouTube, and then based off of ads or however they want to do it, they are going to make money off of it. Now, the course that I'm creating that I kind of talked about in the other video that you probably saw is basically I'm creating this course that takes you through the whole production process. But in these podcasts, what I want to do is I want to kind of break down the process, not so much the production process, but kind of like the process of how do you start making money with your animations. Now, again, I've been doing this for probably close to a year now. So I'm not like the top expert with this. So I want to be as transparent as possible. But I also want this to be an opportunity to let you see, as I'm learning things, like what I'm also learning and experiencing myself. Because I've been doing animations and I've been creating animations and selling them, selling my services as an animator. And I've figured out pretty much how to make money when it comes to animations. But when it comes to webisodes or web series or different things like that, especially animated, I have noticed, and this is the software we're going to be talking about for the moment, but I've noticed in the Anime Studio and Moho community, it's very common for many people starting out, they want to create these web series. They want to create these webisodes, which is totally fine. The course that I'm coming up with is called From Hobbyist to, well, basically it's for hobbyists, but it's getting paid for your first animation or something. I can't remember even what the title was. It's kind of a work in progress. And basically what I wanted to talk about with that is getting paid. Like that's the thing. So if you're a hobbyist and you're creating these web series and you're just doing it for experience and everything like that, that's totally fine. But there's many people out there with the mindset that they're going to be making a lot of money off of this. Like, people are going to love this. I'm going to create this web series and people are going to buy it, and people are going to, well, not buy it, but people are going to watch it, and I'm going to make money on YouTube from ad revenue. Well, I don't know if you're too familiar with YouTube, but YouTube's been changing a lot of its things very, it's different terms and conditions and its payment options and different things like that. When you first started out with YouTube, it was good for animators because it was based off of how long the views were. Or sorry, not how long the views were, how many views you got was a huge determination of how much you got paid. But now it's more so, like I said, it's more so with views. I think right now it's like, if you have ads on your YouTube channel, you're making around, if that, you're making around probably like 50 cents to $3 on 1,000 views. So if you calculate that out, that's not that much money. So if you have like 10,000 views, I mean, you're probably making $20 to $30. And me personally, on my YouTube channel, as you can probably see, at this time I have around 100,000 views, and I've not even made like $70. I think when you actually get paid from YouTube is once you hit the $100 mark, because I haven't been paid for anything. So once you hit that $100 mark, that's when you start getting income. But again, I wouldn't put your money on that. So if you're wanting to create these webisodes and you're using YouTube just to kind of put it out there, that's great. But speaking from experience, what you're going to need first before you can even make money on that, and again, it's a very big if, because you're not going to be making a lot of money on it just because of the different conditions that YouTube now has in place for animators. You probably saw there was a drop in animations for webisodes and things like that, and that's because there's just totally different agreements now when it comes to making money. So what I want to talk about today, as far as the web series, just to kind of give you some other ideas, just to not completely discourage you, but just to let you know that there's still some options on the table. However, we'll be talking about a completely different option as well that still can use your animation skills, but it's not making your own web series. So for example, if you wanted to have web series, and again, this is if you have a following, if you have an audience. And when I say following or an audience, right now at this time I have around 2,000 subscribers, and that's not nearly enough to really be making any money. If I was to make a web series, you would need somewhere between 10,000 to 20,000, 50,000, even 100,000 would be wonderful, obviously. But obviously you have to have a pretty huge following in order to have this web series even be popular. Especially having people following you and sharing your web series with other people. It's very hard to get started. So usually, I don't know, I've seen a lot today, especially with all the crap going on in the world. There's been a lot of like web series on like political type stuff. But then again, you got to remember, for an animator, there's a pretty huge weight on their shoulders if it's just a one person just doing these web series. And that's your production. You're pretty much taking head for the whole production, the script, the storyboard, if you have a storyboard, I don't know. But the script, the lip syncing, if you're doing any sort of character animation, there's a ton of different things to consider. So the turnaround time for these web series, in order to appease your audience, has to actually be pretty quick, because when you think about it, when you're watching a TV series and that TV series ends, you have your season and then it starts again. You're either going to have like kind of like that, like your season, and just have your web series or your webisodes all set up, and then you got time to work through the season for your next set of episodes. And I don't know, it's not really ideal. So once you have your following, this is kind of the stuff that I have here in front of me that you can do. One of them is to sell your videos. So I know Amazon, they came out with a new type of video thing that's kind of good for indie developers and things like that. Or not developers, but indie animators and producers and people that are looking to sell video. But also there's Vimeo. I know Vimeo, they have an option where you can rent or buy, and it's on their premium package, which I believe is probably like $200 a year. So again, you have to be making some sort of profit to even be being able to use these different resources, because they're also going to cost money. I know there's some other ones. I don't know them off the top of my head, again, because I'm not too familiar when it comes to webisodes or web series. But another thing that you can do is, once you find a niche for your web series, say let's say like it's like politics or something, and you have an affiliate link that links to political books that maybe you mentioned in the web series, or that's probably a bad example. Maybe it's about like technology and different things like that. Again, I'm just kind of spitballing ideas here. But an affiliate link is basically a link once you're set up as an affiliate partner, and all that is you're selling something for someone else and you're making a commission off of it. So for example, you can do it for Amazon. So let's say I created this political animation and I mentioned a book in there or something in there to kind of compel people to buy this book or look into it more. Let's say let's just give an example, like you're just doing a book review channel. So your channel's set up to do all these sorts of book reviews. And then if the person wants to check out the book, they can go down into your description where you have the affiliate link. And it's a process, but once you get set up on Amazon with this whole affiliate partnership, again, you have to have a following. It's important because you can't just set it yourself up as an affiliate and not have any following, or you're going to be removed from the affiliate program as well. But anyway, so you have your affiliate links and everything. So when you recommend that book, they can go down, they can click it. When they buy it, I think it's 3 days, for example, on Amazon, 3 days, that affiliate link, once they go to it, they can click off of it and buy a different product on Amazon, and you're going to get commission off of that. Now, how much commission? That definitely depends. It could be anywhere between like 3% to 10%. I don't know. It's been changing a lot, but that's last what I heard. Don't take my word for that. But yeah, so that's an example. You can do affiliate links. for your web series. So that's a way that you can make money. The other one's sponsorships. You've probably seen that a lot. Sponsorship, you kind of got to go out of your way. A lot of times people think like, oh, I'm going to get so big that people are going to come to me to be my sponsors. It depends on how big you are. If you're, probably around 100,000, 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, for example, you're going to get some sponsorship. But if not, you got to go out of your way and you got to find people that are kind of in your niche. So in your category, who you're specifying your animations to, find something similar, and you basically have to submit a proposal. You can do this via email or however, but you want to do it professionally, and you submit your proposal and you say, hey, I would like you to sponsor my channel. And then how that works is basically, because again, there's huge changes going on right now. There's something going on right now on YouTube called Adpocalypse. And that's like if you have violence or bad language or different things like that, something that's not family friendly, pretty much. The advertisers can remove their ads from your video. So even if you're set up and monetized with YouTube, which I believe you have to be at like 100 subscribers to even be monetized, you have to make sure that your content is good. If it's not good, you're going to get less ads, which occurs to have, which is less money basically that you're earning. So you get these sponsorships, and in your video, like in a video, in the recording itself, not like a overlay, not a video ad, but in the video itself, you're thanking your sponsor and you're promoting your sponsor. So it has to be for your benefit as far as earning money from your sponsorship, but it also has to be for their benefit as well. And then there's also merchandise. So if you get really big and if you get a good following and stuff, you can sell merchandise, shirts, cups, I mean, your typical stuff. Shirts tend to be like the most popular. So if you have a webisode or web series that's really popular, then you can have a shirt with your logo of your channel or whatever. And if people buy it, then obviously you're making money off of it. So with all that said, there's a lot that goes into webisodes, okay? So you have to have an audience and you have to have a following. Now, again, I don't say this to discourage you or anything like that, because it is possible. I don't ever, like, for example, if I have kids and they want to follow a dream, I don't ever want to discourage them of their dream, despite how much money they're going to make or not make, because they'll figure it out themselves, basically, is what it comes down to once they're adults. But just do what you want and use it as a learning experience, whether it's good or bad, because both technically are good, even though it could be a bad experience. So you just learn what not to do, basically. And then, so the next part I want to talk about, on top of kind of like webisodes and stuff, something similar is called explainer videos. Now, for some reason, people are kind of against this. So when I introduced my course saying, like your production process consists of this and this and this, and what I was basing around was an explainer video, people are like, I don't like that because I can't do it with a web series. Technically, yes, you can do it with web series, because all I'm doing is just going through like the production process. But I don't know what the big hang up is with people when it comes to creating these explainer videos for these companies, because that's a whole different type of thing. Web series, you're kind of just going off on your own and you're just doing what you can with your skills and with your ability to market yourself. Whereas with explainer videos, it's the same thing. You have to market yourself because you got to find someone that's going to hire you, but it's a much quicker process. There's a lot more money involved, or it's an easier way to make money rather than doing your web series. So, for example, starting off, so let's say you've been animating for probably about a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you feel like you got the hang of it. So say you're like in my position about a year or so ago, when I started going out and basically taking my animations and saying, hey, this is how much I'm worth. I can create this animation for you. What do you say? Type of thing. Obviously in a more professional manner. You have to feel confident in yourself, for one, but the truth is you're always going to fear selling yourself as well. And again, these are topics I want to talk about some other time. So what I want to focus on for if you're kind of in that spot and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go, I want to make these explainer videos, which is just creating these animations, whether you're doing 2D or motion graphic or whatever you're doing, and you're making these animations for these businesses, and you're basically making these animations so that their business ideas, the who, what, when, where, why, and all that is explained, and people can see a need for the product through your animation. So these are usually like upfront cost type thing. It's usually like if I was doing a project for like $2,000, $3,000, you can make an agreement that you want to get paid. It's rare, but you can do like 50-50, like half upfront, half at the end. A lot of times because, again, this is another topic, a lot of times because people are going to scam you as well as a animator. They'll probably do like 30-70 or something. So you only get paid 30%, and then upon completion, 70%. Or they might just hold it off, which you got to be really careful for, where they're like, okay, you get nothing until the product is finished. And that's something you got to be really careful about, but you'll also learn with experience. So the experience, what I'm talking about there is you got to start small. So before you even worth $3,000 to $5,000, you gotta remember that a lot of times when you're starting out, you just gotta kind of go through the crappy experiences as well. You kind of gotta just feel it out, just figure out how things are working, because it will happen. Like I remember I tried so hard to avoid it, but an example is like I did like a $500 project, and I overworked myself, and it wasn't worth $500. It was worth way more than that, but because as I was learning everything and I just agreed, I was like, oh yeah, I can totally do that. That should be really easy. And then the client, because I didn't know how to set myself up, the client's like, okay, I want this revision and this revision when I sent like my final product. And I'm like, whoa, revisions, what the heck? I didn't even think about that. Should I charge for that? I don't know. And I don't know. So those were like things that I had to learn as I was going. So let's talk about like putting yourself out there. So how do you market yourself? How do you even get this going? I started small. So when I first started, luckily my dad, he has a company, and his company needed an explainer video for an app. And I can even link you to what that, oh, you know what? I don't even think they have those up anymore. Dang it. I'll try to find those videos, those original videos, because I can share those. Those aren't under NDA or anything like that. But basically, it was my very first explainer video. And looking at it now, I created it like almost 2 years ago. It looked like crap. It looked really bad. But it worked. Like I got paid for it and everything. A client was happy. I was happy because this was like my first ever explainer video. But yeah, that's how I started. Is I started small. So whether it's family, friends, people you know, they have businesses, whether it's their own business or their company's business, there's a lot of ways to go out there. I have a Facebook group, and on that Facebook group, the Moho Pros, there's people in Africa that, okay, so that's terrible to say. Like, obviously, Africa is not all poverty or anything like that. Like, there's cities, and Africa is beautiful. But there are people in Africa in the more impoverished locations where things are a lot more poor, but they're still able to look for work opportunities, and they're able to make these videos and make money. So despite where you are, if you think you are in the crappiest situation, it's still possible because I've seen the possibilities. So family, friends, close contacts, mutual friends, and you approach them in a professional manner. And again, I'll have to say this for some other time, and maybe even have like this template that you can download or something. But basically, you approach them and you just say, hey, this is what I do. I saw your company and you need X, Y, and Z. I, as an animator, can provide that for you through an animated explainer video. And there's some statistics on how well these explainer videos work versus what they're probably doing. And you could show that to them. So you'll get 30 to 40% more conversions because of this animated explainer video. Because it's video, it's much more appealing. And again, you have to be at a pretty good level of animation. You have to be at an animation level that's pretty good in order to really sell yourself. And it helps to have a portfolio. So again, nothing wrong with Webisodes. Webisodes, you're building your experience as long as you're trying to improve each and every episode and every day. And so you can use your Webisodes, you can have your portfolio, you can show these things to this person and say, hey, this is something I can do. The next one from there is YouTube channels. So there's a guy that I know that was talking to me in the groups before even he started selling himself. He was basically asking me for some advice. And I was giving him some advice and just really encouraging him, because I was in the same spot. It's scary. It's like, okay, how do you put yourself out there at first? And there's really a lot more to it, but this is just kind of an overview. But I was basically just saying, like, you can do it. Like, have faith in yourself. I've seen your animations. Your animations are great. What I would start doing is just going out to YouTube channels and just saying, hey, I would like to make this animation for you. Just for experience sake. There's a thing out there called exposure. You'll hear the word exposure a lot. And people will sometimes approach you and they'll be like, hey, make this animation for you and I'll expose you to all of my hundreds of thousands of viewers, and they'll make it sound appealing or whatever. But basically they're selling you for naught. Like, they're just saying, you're not worth crap. You're worth my viewership, but what's the chance of those people that are watching that video to even go to you and say, hey, I want an animation created? It's pretty slim. So what these YouTube channels, what this opportunity is you can do it for money. If it's a pretty big channel, let's say, okay, if it's like 1 million, there's no chance in heck that you're really going to get through to that person, because hundreds of thousands of other people are trying to get to that channel through different advertisement, animation, whatever it may be. But if you're looking at a channel that's probably like 50,000 to 100,000, that you know they're making some pretty good money, they have some money to spare to make like let's say like it's a band and they have 50 to 100,000 subscribers, and they're saying, okay, we can hire you as an animator to make this music video for us. Well, that's exactly what this guy did, and he's been doing it for pretty big YouTube channels now, and it's been doing really well. And I'm pretty sure he's figured everything out as far as learning the whole process to now, okay, this is how much I'm worth type of thing. When I first started out, to be honest, I'll tell you the truth. When I first started out, I think I charged, it was $12 per second of video, which is never a good idea. When it comes to selling yourself, you want to do it for the whole project itself. Don't do it by seconds of the video, because they can add as much crap into the animation that they want. So yeah, so you're basically you're not making a lot of money, and I'm not good at math right now for some reason. But yeah, so you wanna do it as an overall project. But again, that's another topic that we can get into. So again, I'm testing everything out. I'm trying to learn how to speak to the camera straight on, talk to you guys. And I want this to be a conversation. If you have experience with this, or if you have thoughts on this, be sure and ask questions. This is what this is for. This is just testing. I mean, right now I'm going up to 30 minutes. I don't even know if you're watching at this point, but hopefully it's helping. All right. And so the last ones that I want to talk about is Fiverr. Fiverr is a platform where you can start off at $5 and then basically increase, like, okay, you want to add voiceover, you want to add this, you want to add this. It's going to be $5 plus however you want to say that amount is. Sometimes people will do animations for $5, or I don't know why you'd want to do that, because you're going to get what you paid for. So you have to be considerate as far as like yourself. You have to be considerate of yourself. Like, you're not worth $5. If you're making some pretty decent animations, you'll find out what you're worth, because in the end you'll be like, ugh, that didn't feel good, that was crappy, I undersold myself. Or maybe sometimes you oversell yourself and you're like, you feel like inadequate. But wait for like the client's response, like, oh, this is really good, or hey, this isn't worth it. But don't worry about them like burning you, like saying, oh, don't work with this person, and they go to all their family and friends. Like, that's not how it works. If you're transparent with the person and you're basically starting out, and let's say it's a business and they're starting out, you're both learning something new. If this is the first time they're doing an explainer video, you can be transparent with one another. And that's what it's about. Like, a lot of times people think like it's nothing serious. It's, well, what do they say? Nothing personal, just business. That is a lot of stuff that you see like on movies and stuff, and maybe in like corporate situations, but in a freelance with a small business, that's not really happening. You guys are trying to be friends. You're trying to make a partnership, like a temporary partnership, that is, where you're trying to help one another is basically what it comes down to. And you have to cover each other's bases. So it helps to have everything discussed. And yeah, that's something else that could also be talked about another time. So as I'm like talking about this and all these different things, a lot of things are coming up in my mind of different things that can be talked about. And then there's Upwork. Upwork is a really popular one. I tried doing it myself. Luckily, I've been able to do like a lot of referral work. Like after I do an animation, I'll say, hey, if you want to refer someone, that would be great. Let them know what you think. And fortunately for me, that's been pretty good. Like a lot of my stuff, I just been doing off of referrals and working with close contacts or mutual friends. But Upwork is a way that you can get your stuff out there, like get you out there personally, your animation, your skills, in a huge marketplace where people are, I don't know, basically if you're familiar with Indeed or Monster Job Hunter or whatever, whenever you're signing up for something and you're looking for a job, you got your search engine, you got your results, and you pick out your job. Well, that's what it is for people that want to hire you. You're a freelancer. You put your work out there and you say, hey, this is how much I'm worth. Here's my work. And they're going to determine whether or not they want to choose you. Now, the other thing is whether or not you're even seen, because just like on Google, people aren't going to go to page 2, 3, 4, and 500. They're going to be looking for the people on first page, like who's best for what I need type of thing. And it's hard starting out. That's why you got to start with these small jobs, and you just kind of got to work your way up, because when you're competing with the big dogs and you're competing with what can be like Disney animator type people on this website, like they're really, really good. They're charging $100, $120 an hour type of thing, $50 an hour, whatever it may be. And you're like $10 an hour, and this is what I can do. There's going to be a company out there that can say to you, okay, I want to hire you. I remember even when I was doing that, and I kind of had a big head, I was like, oh man, I'm worth way more than that. I had a lot of people, they would reach out to me and they would say, hey, for this amount, I'd like to hire you. For me, it felt like it was too little. But again, looking back at it, I could have still taken the job and been okay with it. Like it was an experience, a learning experience, and that's basically what it is. So if you feel like you can't afford it and you just want to stick on the hobby side, that's okay. Like I get that in a sense, but that's probably because you're just not committed to it. You're interested in it, but you're not committed to it. If you're committed to it, you're going to do it. But if you're just like, then that's all it is to you. But for those that really want to get to that next step and go through that burn and go through kind of like the saying, you start out in the mud, you pick yourself up from the mud and you work your way up type of thing. That's basically how it is. If you would do it in a corporate setting, you would put yourself in a crap job to work your way up to a higher position. Why not do it in this type of situation? It's nothing different. Other than fear and security and job security, and there's falseness to that as well when it comes to corporations. But again, that's another topic that can be talked about. So this is from my experience, sharing it with you. If you have any comments or questions, be sure and let me know. I'd love to answer them. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up as well. That lets me know I'm doing a good job and that you probably want more videos like this. But I really, if you can, just really provide me some conversation. I'd really appreciate that. It's like a little bit of planning and everything to do this, and I kind of get nervous in front of the camera, but I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people, and that's why I do it. If you haven't heard, I have a course that I'm coming up with to explain the whole production process, talk more about this, but it's basically creating your first animation for your first paying client. I think that's what it's called, creating your animation for your first paying client. So if you're interested in that, I have an email list that you can sign up to down in the description. So go ahead and sign up to that. So again, yeah, this is Keeping It Real with McCoy. This is just kind of just trying this out. It doesn't hurt to do it. And thanks for watching if you're still watching. And I will see you later.